And here are my calves caught right in the middle of a set of donkey calf raises. I always strap anywhere between 150 and 300 pounds of added weight between my legs on the dip belt, as you can see. Hi, this is John, and welcome back to my channel. Oh, you might notice I'm sitting here in my truck. I went to Venice Beach today to shoot a nice video for you on calves and calf training. And when we got to the pit, man, it was coming down big, plopping drops, rainstorm, Los Angeles, Venice, who knew? I thought we were done with all of this. So I find myself in my truck here taking a minute to explain to you not only why I'm in my truck, but also I plan on giving you some good calf advice today. So I'm going to give it to you anyway. I had a client this last week who inspired me to do a calf video because he asked me. He's a very curious man and wants as much information as possible. And he's very smart as well. He's a teacher. And so when it comes to bodybuilding, he asks all very intelligent questions. And in this case, he did it again. And he said to me, he asked me, is it true that you should train your calves more often because you use them all the time? And the setup was really great because it was easy for me to point out to him, you know, him being an educator and everything, that in fact, well, let's be reasonable now. Let's think about this one. If the muscle tissue is so used to doing so much high volume work daily, that's high volume, very low intensity, because you're out there walking around, you're out there stepping up on steps, going down steps. How difficult is that for you to do? It's not very difficult at all. So the catch to this is, how do you train a muscle like that? Your calves are no longer going to adapt to high volume, high frequency work. So that's what walking is. That's what running is. Well, long distance running. That's what just existing if you have a job that requires you to stand a lot. That's what that is. Your calves are made for some high endurance, as well as, now that's the soleus part of your calf is made for high endurance, mainly. The gastroc, the big thick part in the back, is not necessarily a high endurance fiber type muscle. It has the potential to grow. It's got some good fast twitch fiber in there. And the best way to train that muscle for growth is to do it in a high intensity. That is, man, training to failure, training like your life depends on it, giving every bit of effort plus some at the end of a set. Just when you feel the muscle starting to fail, you don't cheat it up by kicking the weight up with your knees, but rather you even put those knees locked in place even more so you could put more stress on that big thick belly of your calf. Now I'm going to show you a picture. You'll find that on most calf machines you're able to use at or near the stack with added weight. The calves are extra strong and they can handle that kind of weight. So I'm going for it right here in this set, and you'll see I take it right to the very end to where I cannot complete another full complete repetition. I like doing it that far, and then maybe an additional couple extra reps if necessary. Here of when I was a teenager, and you'll see on stage how I had very nice thighs, but my calves were lacking. And as you saw, those calves were okay. They were nice, full-length calves. However, they were small. It was only when I started to train them, and I did train them back then in the style that Arnold recommended, which was every day, 8 to 10 sets every day, and it didn't work. So I switched to doing them just once a week or thereabouts, and heavy. I mean heavy, with way more weight than I would ever use just standing or walking around daily, and training them like I wanted to annihilate them. So it's a requirement to get them to grow. And you could see as the years passed, I'll flip some pictures up here for you, how my calves did grow, and I've gotten nice compliments on them, which is, really kind of nice. And when I was at Gold's Gym in Venice as a trainer for many years, I've had actually, one pro bodybuilder came up to me, Dean Tornabene, and he's a good friend over the years. And Dean said to me, he goes, points down at my calves, and he says, genetics. And I stopped him and I looked at him and I said, you know what? I'll give you genetics, but let's add one word to that. Genetics realized, because I trained them correctly. That's the truth. So you can have all the genetics in the world, but if you're not going to train them correctly, you'll never realize their full potential. So I do believe that I came close to realizing their full potential over the course of the years and training them correctly, which was in a high-intensity fashion, very brief workouts, and with very heavy weights, and using high-intensity techniques as well. So making that big case like I just did, how often would I recommend anybody train them? Man, once a week max. They do recover fairly well, from all that walking. The blood pumps through there. It helps your recovery a little bit. So once a week max, maybe once every 10 days if they don't respond with once a week. And doing them very heavy. How many sets? One set of standing, one set of seated, max, in one workout. I no longer do them in the same workout. I'll do just one or the other. And I won't necessarily do standing calf raises, but most times I'll do donkey calf raises. You've seen one of my other videos on the best calf exercise of all time, donkey calf raises. And you'll see right here that these are the best calf raises I've ever done. Something about the stretch on the calves. Those are just the 3 total best exercises I've ever done. Donkey calf raises number 1, standing calf raises number 2, and then seated calf raises number 3. And really, that seated calf raise number 3, I can't even count as a number 3. It's necessary to do it for the soleus. So I really say 1 and 2, and then also seated calf raises. How's that sound? But nevertheless, high intensity, heavy, infrequently. How many repetitions? Wow. This can vary. The majority of people respond really, really well to 12 to 20 repetitions. I generally respond really well between 10 and 15 repetitions. That's my zone. So there are some freaks, some super freaks out there that need to do really, really low repetitions down to 5 to 8 repetitions, but then there's some that really need to go higher than 20. So this is something you're going to have to experiment with to see what brings the best results for you. Give each one of them a try for a short time period, for maybe 4 or 6 weeks. See what happens to your calves. Train them intensely. Give them everything you got, and then you'll see they're going to respond just like any other muscle group. Don't give up on them. Even people who have very short insertions, maximize the size of that calf. Beat that thing hard. Do it like your life depends on it, and it will grow. How much it grows will depend on your genetics, but you still have to do genetics realized, right? I mean, that's the phrase. That's it. From my heart to you, John Hart. Thanks for stopping by again. Hey, if you haven't hit that subscribe button off to your right, please go ahead and hit it, and maybe give me a thumbs up on your left over there. And also, any comments you want to hit down below, you're welcome to do. And I generally get back to you on all of them as well. Thanks a lot, John Hart. Have a great day.